Hello all, and this might be a quick video, might not be a quick video, I don't know, because of what I'm going to talk about. But I haven't found a lot of discussion about what I'm going to talk about, and and what that is Lucha Underground, and not necessarily a review of Lucha Underground, but more of a discussion about kind of the background story that I see playing out in Lucha Underground, which I see people in written reviews kind of hint at, but they don't just want it. There's no real discussion on it, and that I have found. Maybe there's some, and I'm just not finding it. But I thought I would just come on here and kind of talk about, like I said, kind of the I don't want to say backstory, but kind of the story kind of behind the story kind of thing. When Lucha Underground started, or when it started to air, I didn't watch it because I didn't hear it. It didn't seem like something, not that I wouldn't like per se, but it didn't seem like something I would care to watch. I really, anyone that has watched this for a long time, my channel for a long time, knows that I was a fan of Wrestling Society X, and I even have the DVD because I actually really kind of enjoyed it. I liked some of the things that they attempted to do, and I heard that they were going to attempt to do some of the same things, and I was afraid that what they were going to do is it was just going to be Wrestling Society X with luchadors, and that didn't sound like something I would necessarily want to see. But what they ended up doing is they ended up doing something very different, and instead of getting kind of where the storylines were kind of zany and crazy and all of this sort of thing, they wound up being a little bit more realistic, a little bit darker. I'm not going to say completely realistic because there's some wacky elements to some of the stuff I'm going to talk about, but darker. I would almost say the realistic version of Chikara in a lot of ways. I know a lot of people have done whole videos talking about, Chikara and the storylines and kind of reading between the lines of some Chikara stuff in the past. So, in a lot of ways, it's like that. And so I just thought I would come on here and kind of talk about the things I've noticed and kind of the things that, if you follow me on Twitter, you've probably heard me talk about a little bit. But I thought I would just come on here and maybe talk about them a little bit more, because, like I said, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. But anyways, like I said, I was real reluctant to watch the show, and everyone kept telling me how good it was, how good it was, how good it was. So I finally said, okay, I'll watch it. And I kind of binge watched it after the Aztec Warfare had aired, and I got all the way up to there. And there were things I noticed right away, and there were things I liked a lot. And I think after Aztec Warfare, I think you saw a lot of you saw the show change. I've heard that a lot of criticisms that people had, and there was a lot of criticisms that I kind of had, started to be fixed. That the writers and the producers are very open to fixing a lot of the stuff. So there was that. But after this last episode, it was very apparent to me that a lot of kind of my theories might be true on the show, and that if you've watched the show, you kind of know that it's not a traditional wrestling show. It's more of a TV show where it centers kind of around a wrestling show. So the external stuff, external storylines, there's lots of like weird like B-movie, action movie kind of stuff going on that works, and it works really well, and it's cheesy, but it still works really well. That adds a lot more to the story, and I think it's more of the story they're actually trying to tell, and that the stories that are going on in the ring and what we're traditionally used to seeing are kind of secondary. And I think a lot of people don't kind of realize that, and so when they review it, they're just reviewing the stuff that goes on in the ring, and then the stuff that goes on outside the ring, that just kind of happened. And I think it's really meant to be the other way around. But what I noticed when I first started watching the show is, if you go back and watch episode 1, there is this promo that starts out the show. And the promo is this guy in a hoodie, you don't see his face, getting beat up, and then this luchador shows up and saves the kid. And it's kind of something out of, if you've ever, a lot of you wouldn't know this, but the old Del Santo movies and that sort of thing. In Mexico, you had these action movies that the top luchadors, what's that, Del Santo, and there was another one too, that I don't think Mel Mascaras might have been, were in these movies, and that they were, like, you know, and added to their aura. And so it was kind of something like that. And he saves this kid, this luchador saves this kid, and then he says, "Come with me." And then he says, "What do you know about Lucha Libre?" And then he starts explaining the fact of the 7 tribes and all this stuff. And I really recommend people going back and watching it. But in that, you've got this kid getting beat up, who I thought right away seemed like it could be, and I still think this, that it is Prince Puma, and that, you know, it looks a lot like Conan is playing Prince Puma, or that Conan is using Prince Puma for his own gains, and in some way that we don't understand. And in reality, maybe it's Prince Puma playing Conan, and Conan just doesn't realize it. To get into Lucha Underground, because this other luchador is the one that actually trained him for some unknown reasons. The reason why I bring this up is because on the last episode, I believe what is she, Dark Lotus or White Lotus, whatever she's calling herself, was of course in the back of the episode before. She got kidnapped. In this episode, she was in the back of a car. At the end of the episode, in a trunk, and they open the trunk, and she goes, and you hear his voice go, "What do you know about Lucha Libre?" And she's standing there, and he goes, "Come with me." And it's the guy from the opening of the first episode. But anyways, in the opening, he talks about the 7 tribes, which, if you know anything about Aztec history, basically they had 7 tribes that turned into 1 tribe, turned into the Aztecs, and there and that. There's been the idea, or the fact, that Doria Cordo is Spanish. He's not Mexican, he's Spanish, and yet he has Aztec gold, which some have theorized, I haven't read this, that he is somehow related to Cortez, who of course ransacked the Aztecs and conquered. And so you have kind of that element going on too. But they talk about the 7 tribes, and the fact of that is these were cave dwelling tribes, and that they came out of their caves and formed one. That's the legend of it. Well, in the opener, you see 3 luchadors, Prince Puma, it looks like Phoenix, it might be Drago, but I think it's Phoenix, and Mel Mortes come out, basically coming down from the caves. And so there's 3, so I'm guessing there's 4 more, unless of course the old luchador is one of them, and of course Fong could be one as well, because they do the intergender thing. But so, you know, we've got 4 more to find, you would think, and so there's that element of it, and so I find that very interesting. Then of course you got Cordo's key, which of course for a long time we didn't know what it was, and then we found out it was the key to wherever Matanza is locked up, which of course is what the girl was looking for. And she finds him, and that's when she's kidnapped, where she finds him and says, you know, "I watched you kill my family, and I promised from then on I was going to kill you with my bare hands." And she may or may not have some wacky powers, because the first time we saw her, she vanished and went, "Oh," and that made a whooshing sound, so we don't know about that either. But so there's that, and how does he play in all this? Is he a nuclear option? Is he one of the 7? We don't really know. And then of course you have the fact that Cordo always calls the arena his temple, and at first it looked like it was more of a temple figuratively, and he just called it his temple. And as time goes on, it looks like perhaps he doesn't mean it figuratively, he means it literally. Literally, this is his temple. And that somehow it has to do with, you know, the Aztec legend. Again, you've got the Aztec gold, because when Cage tore up the belt, he said, you know, the gods won't be happy. Okay, what gods aren't going to be happy? The Aztec gods? Why would the Aztec gods care? But all of those just kind of hints that continually go on, and it really makes me wonder where it's going. Because again, I think that's the actual story of the show, and that what the rest of what all happens in the ring is kind of, you know, side theater. that, you know, the sort of thing. So I just wanted to come on here and kind of talk about that because I haven't seen a lot of people talk about that. I'm sure there's some other stuff that I'm either forgetting or I missed or something like that. So, you know, in the comment section, let me know, or wherever. But there's just I don't feel like there's a lot of talk about like the theories about exactly what is going on. I do feel like this has a lot to do with Aztec legend and kind of Mexican heritage legend and house that, which I don't know a lot about. My best friend probably knows more about it than me, but he's not exactly someone I can just pick up and call all the time because he's in Houston, I'm now in Oklahoma City, so that kind of makes it hard. But so you have all that. But I'm sure there's people that understand that far more than me and understand the 7 tribes far more than me because I have looked up the 7 tribes. There's no way I'd be able to pronounce them. And I tried to see if there was any connection, like, you know, this tribe represented this and this tribe represented, and I didn't really find any of that either. So, and I'm sure there's maybe somebody out there that has a better understanding of that. Not that I expect the TV show to follow all that. I'm sure they'll take their own kind of spin on it since it seems based more on legend and that sort of thing. But yeah. But like I said, it was just some things that I've noticed over the last, what, I guess we're up to like 19 episodes, that kind of intrigued me, so to speak, that we've got kind of all of that stuff going on, and hopefully we get more of it. So anyways, that's kind of all I just want to talk about. So I'm out.